In the last video, we talked about the jobs that AI can't touch. This one is different. These are the 3 jobs that are already disappearing, right now, while you're watching this. And almost nobody in the mainstream is talking honestly about how fast it's actually happening. You've probably heard the reassuring version of this story. Don't worry, AI will create more jobs than it destroys. And technically, the data supports that. The World Economic Forum's 2025 Future of Jobs report projects 92 million jobs displaced by 2030, but also 170 million new ones created. A net gain. Here's what that framing leaves out. Those new jobs aren't going to the same people in the same cities with the same education levels as the jobs being lost. A cashier in Ohio doesn't automatically become an AI systems engineer. A data entry clerk in Manila doesn't wake up the next morning as a cybersecurity specialist. The math adds up, the human reality doesn't. So let's look at what's actually happening, with real numbers from real sources. Job number 1 is the one people know about, but still underestimate: the retail cashier. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, which publishes 10-year employment projections using verified employment data, cashiers are projected to shed 353,100 positions between 2023 and 2033. That's an 11% decline. And that makes cashiers the single occupation projected to lose the most jobs of any job category in the entire US economy over this period. This isn't a prediction, it's a projection based on trends that are already measurable. Self-checkout expansion, AI-powered inventory systems, contactless payment adoption. What surprises people is the timeline. This isn't 2040. The BLS projection runs through 2033. That's less than 7 years from now. And the reason this job specifically is at risk isn't complicated. The work is structured, repetitive, and location fixed. A machine can scan a barcode faster, more accurately, and at a fraction of the cost. The economics here are blunt. Job number 2 is one that I think most people assume is already gone, but it's not yet. And that's exactly what makes it interesting: the bank teller. The BLS projects a 15% decline in bank teller employment from 2023 to 2033. Roughly 51,400 positions eliminated. There were approximately 350,000 tellers employed in the US as of 2023. Now, here's something worth knowing. There's a historical precedent that complicates this story. When ATMs were introduced in the 1980s, economists predicted tellers would vanish. They didn't. In fact, teller employment grew because ATMs made branches cheaper to run, so banks opened more of them, and each branch still needed staff. What's different now is the combination of 2 forces happening at the same time. Digital banking has eliminated the reason to visit a branch at all, and AI can now handle the complex queries that only human tellers used to manage. The ATM solved cash, AI solves the conversation. And when both problems are solved, the reason to employ a teller disappears with them. Job number 3 is the one that people in those jobs probably least want to hear about. Because unlike cashiers or tellers, this one feels like it should be safe. It's office work, white collar, indoors, skill, the data entry clerk, and the broader category of administrative clerks whose core task is processing, recording, and organizing information. The World Economic Forum's 2025 Future of Jobs report lists data entry clerks among the fastest declining jobs globally, with some clerical roles projected to shrink by more than 40% by 2030. In the US, the BLS projects administrative and clerical occupations to lose approximately 45,300 positions by 2033. Here's why this one is different from the other 2. It's already happening quietly. Cashiers lose jobs visibly. You can see the self-checkout machine. Bank branches close. There's a sign on the door, but data entry positions disappear silently. A company upgrades its software. A process gets automated. Suddenly, 3 roles become 1. Nobody holds a press conference. Research from Anthropic's own labour market analysis found that data entry keyers have a 67.1% AI exposure rate, meaning more than 2/3 of the core tasks in this job can be performed by current AI systems. That's not a projection. That's a capability that exists right now. So what's the pattern across all three of these jobs? They're structured. The tasks follow predictable rules. They're repetitive. The same action performed thousands of times. And they're measurable, so a machine can be evaluated against a human, and the comparison is clear-cut. That's the honest framework. It's not about white-collar versus blue-collar. It's not about education level. It's about whether your core tasks are things a system can be trained to replicate at lower cost. If you work in one of these roles, or know someone who does, the data here isn't meant to cause panic. It's meant to cause action. Because the timeline is real, and 7 years is enough time to move if you start now. If this gave you something to think about, or if you disagree, tell me in the comments. I read every one. And if you want to keep seeing this kind of content, real data, no panic, no hype, subscribing to the channel is the best way to stay in the loop. We put out a new video every week. Now, let's talk about where all of this is actually heading. We've talked about software and algorithms replacing jobs, but the next wave isn't software. It has a body. It walks. It lifts. It works a 12-hour shift without a break. Next, how humanoid robots are entering real workplaces, not as a demo, not as a pilot program, as employees. See you there.